Everyone. I have chosen my topic, and the topic that I've chosen, I was inspired to choose this topic by my commute home, actually. A couple of years ago, I was driving home and I would pass this billboard every day, and it was all about this LDS millionaire who was looking for his wife and who had clearly hired a matchmaking service to help him find her. And I always thought that was so intriguing. And then, of course, that coupled with this very popular reality TV show on Lifetime that has 11 seasons called Married at First Sight, where two couples are matched together by matchmakers, a matchmaking service company, and then they meet for the very first time at the altar, and then they figure out how to be a couple together and how to fall in love after the marriage. And it's so intriguing, it's so dramatic to kind of watch that. 11 seasons there. Then, of course, last year or the year before, there was a really popular Netflix show called Love is Blind. And the whole idea was that this company would match two people who were compatible and help them get married, but they wouldn't be allowed to see each other even before the marriage. They had to only be able to talk to each other and connect in that way, but the physical would play no part in their attraction to each other. And all of these TV shows were very intriguing to me, plus this billboard. And it made me start thinking about this whole idea of arranged marriage in the modern world. And I don't know very much about it, but it interests me. So I want to research about it and possibly create a question that I might be able to ask and do a research paper on. So, the first thing I need to do is I need to learn a little bit more about my topic because I don't know very much about this whole idea of matchmaking or arranged marriages. So, I'm going to go to my preliminary research number one organizer. You'll have the same copy, and I'm going to start filling this out, the KWL and then the question mark at the end. The first thing I'm going to think about is what I think I already know about the topic. And that's important because I may think I know it, but it may prove to be untrue when I actually do my research. But I'm going to write it down. I think I know that Eastern nations do arranged marriages more than Western nations. I think that Western cultures generally don't practice arranged marriage or matchmaking. And I think that even in Western cultures today, matchmaking services are on the rise. So, what do I want to know about my topic? I wrote down some questions. Why do people opt for arranged marriages or matchmaking services in modern society? Could an arranged marriage or a matchmaking service work in today's modern world? Can arranged marriages yield more marital satisfaction among married couples than traditional couples? Why or why not? And what effect, if any, does an arranged marriage have on family stability? So, these are some initial questions I have, and I'm going to go and see if there are some answers out there. Because if a question has already been answered, I don't want to ask that same question for my research paper. I want to kind of explore something new that hasn't been answered. But I also need to know a little bit more about my topic, so I have some general background information on my topic. So at this point, I'm going to stop. I'm going to go look for a piece of information online from a reputable source, and I'm going to read it, and I'm going to come back then and fill out my next two columns. So let's pretend I did that I stopped, I went and found an article, which I did. I found one from the New York Times. It's called First Comes Marriage. It was written in 2009, which is fairly recent. And it's all about this whole concept of arranged marriages in modern day society. So I read it, and I found out some great information from this article. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and I'm going to type up what I learned in this learned column. So, for example, I learned that arranged marriages are more common in India. I learned that one of the reasons that arranged marriages work is because in traditional marriages, when you fall in love first and then get married, you often go through this sort of the honeymoon is over phase where the scales drop from the eyes and you begin to see this person clearly after you've been married. So scales drop from the eyes in traditional Western marriages, which may lead to more divorce. In arranged marriage, there are no expectations or false assumptions because they aren't in love before they get married. So there are fewer expectations or false assumptions. I learned that expectations are probably play a big part in traditional marriage breakdown when people don't meet those expectations. And I also saw that the biggest benefit of arranged marriage is not having those expectations when you go into it. And I also learned that oftentimes the opposites attract, the yin and yang concept, can make the marriage work. So I found some interesting information, but only only an answer to this one: could an arranged marriage or matchmaking service work in today's modern world? So I still have 3 other questions in my want to know column that I don't have answers for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down those remaining questions that I still don't have answers for in this last column. So you can see that I have those 3 remaining questions here. And a new one that I started asking from the article here. What makes a successful marriage match or a successful marriage arrangement? Those are some things that I would like to know. What are some things that a matchmaker might consider before matching 2 people? So this is where I'm going to go for my next preliminary research. I'm going to find another article and see if I can't find some answers to these questions and see what other new questions I come up with in this topic.